We are going to see about jump statements. So in Java we have three types of jumping statements. They are break, continue and return. These statements transfer execution control to another part of the program. So the first one is Java's break statement. So we'll be using break statement in three cases. The first case is inside the switch case to come out of the switch block. So we know why we are using switch case. If we have multiple choices among which we have to choose any one, we'll go for switch. And to come out of each and every choice, we'll be using a command called break. So that is the first case, we'll be using break. The second thing where we'll be using this break is within the loops. And why we use this within the loop is to break the loop execution based on certain condition. The third condition or the third choice where we are using this break statement is inside labeled blocks to break that block execution based on some condition. So this is an example for break statement. Here a class called test is created, and within the main function we have a for loop. So the second condition is inside for loop we'll be using this break so as to break the execution in between. So here j is initialized with 0 and j is less than 10. This is the condition given and it is incrementing in j++. In the third part it's been incremented. So this is the for loop that we are using here, and the break condition should occur when there is a number that comes. If j is equivalent to 5, then there should be a break occurring. And here you can see initially the value of j is 0, so the condition will be checked initially. 0 is less than 10, the condition gets satisfied, and then it goes to the if statement where it will be checked. Now the value of j is 0, so it is not equivalent to 5, so it will not enter the loop, so it will not break. So till the value of j gets 5, it will be executed again and again, but when the value of j is exactly equivalent to 5, it will enter the loop, that is there is a break statement. So it will skip or it will break that particular point. Whenever there is a value 5, it will break and it will come out of the loop printing the j value, and it will again print a command outside of for loop just for informing. So this is the output 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and when the j value comes to 5, it comes out of the loop and it will indicate that it is outside of for loop. And then the second jump statement is continue. So continue is used in certain criterias, okay, and usually it will be used inside looping statement. When the continue statement is encountered, what happens is it will skip the current iteration and the next iteration will start. Whenever the compiler encounters the continue statement, the current iteration, only that current iteration will be skipped and the next one will start. The remaining statements in the loop are skipped. The execution starts from the top of loop again. We can use continue statement to skip current iteration and continue the next iteration inside loops also. So these are the three choices of using continue statement. So this is an example of using continue statement. So here also we have created a class test, and inside main function we have loop. As we know, continue can only be used when we are having looping statement. So we have a for loop here with a value of j initialized to 1, and the condition will be checked till it is equivalent to 100. The loop will run, and then there is an incremental part. So first the value will be equivalent to 1. 1 is obviously less than 100. So it enters into the next condition checking, that is if statement j modulo 2. So the j value now is 1. 1 modulo 2 is equivalent to 0. So what it does is it will skip. It will skip the execution and it will go for next incrementing. Okay, it will just skip it. So here and then it will be incremented to 2. So 2 modulo 2, it also equivalent to 0. So it will skip. Whenever the condition comes as 0, it will skip and it will not print anything. But if it is not equivalent to 0, it will come out of the continue statement and it will print the value of j. This is what we can see here. The value 1 will be printed, but the 2 value is not printed because 2 modulo 2 is 0. At that time it will just break in between, and during the value of 4 also it will just skip the value because the modulo value of 4 and 2 is 0. So it will skip 4 and it will continue the same way. The third jump statement is a return statement. It is used in methods in order to terminate a method in between and return back to the caller method. It is an optional one. It's not a need that return statement is mandatory. That is, even if a method doesn't include a return statement, control return backs to the caller method after execution of the method. So return statement may or may not return parameters to the caller method. This is an example for return statement. A class with name test is created, and then inside main function, this is the syntax for creating an object for this particular class, that is test class. And sum is declared as int, and using this particular object, and method is called here, addition of 10, 20. So whenever this method call is being initiated, it will go and check where is this addition. So the control passes on from this line, okay, from this line to this method, int addition of int a and b. So instead of a and b, the values will be assigned as 10 and 20. So here inside this addition function, it will return a plus b, that is 10 plus 20. It is going to return a value 30, and that is also an integer, so that's not a problem. It will again, after closing this loop, it will again pass on the control here to this line. Now the next line is to print the sum value. Sum is equivalent to 30 will be displayed, and again after that another one method is being called t. T is the object, with that we are showing a value, show of diva. Diva is the string that we are using. So this will pass on the control over here in this method void show of diva. So system.out.println is responsible for displaying the content in the output screen. So it displays welcome diva and then it will return. So this one doesn't return anything. So it's having a command void here. It doesn't return anything. There is no calculation, nothing is carried out. It just displays it. So here you can see the return statement, why it is used. It is just used to transfer the control to the main function. Okay, if there is a function call, we'll use this return function to make the, so the output would be the sum is equal to 30 and then welcome diva. These are the outputs for calling two different